Coupons are positive. You're getting most of your money in 30 years, but you're going to get some of your money much earlier. In a sense, the effective maturity of your bond is less than 30 years. So as coupons go higher, the effective maturity of bond goes down. Since we know lower is the sooner is the maturity, the less risky it is, or farther into future the maturity, the more riskier it is. So decreasing the coupon rate is tantamount to effectively increasing the maturity. So let's codify that. Ceteris paribus. That is Latin for keeping everything else the same. But as my econometrics teacher used to say, well, in economics and finance, ceteris is really paribus. But it's a thought experiment. If I get to keep everything else the same except one thing, we do this a lot in economic analysis. Uh, Longer maturity, higher. Uh, I'm going to call this, I don't have to abbreviate it. Higher interest rate risk and lower coupon, or let's make it higher coupon rates, lower interest rate risk. As an issuer, if I want to, I can make the coupon rates 20%. There is nothing that stops me from doing so. Example, I can have a 30-year bond with a coupon rate of 20%. See what happened to the value of the bond? It's $3,700. Why? Because every 6 months I'm gonna get $100 from this bond. Every year I'm gonna get $200. 30 years from now, I'm gonna get another 1,000 because at this high coupon rate, in the grand scheme of things, that doesn't mean much. So since I'm getting essentially more than what the interest rate says I should, I should be paying more for that. You're paying for that extra income you're getting. When it's a low coupon, you're not getting enough income, so you have to be compensated for that. So if the coupon rate was only 1%, I'm going to pay only 466. Why? As a lender, I want to be compensated 4.115 every year, but you're compensating me less. So you have to make up for that. That's what that discount does. But if I give you 20%, I'm giving you more than what you're entitled to. That means you have to compensate me as the issuer. All right, I have about 20 minutes, oh, 12 minutes, I'm sorry. Let's figure out, sometimes I'm going to tell you exactly what the bond value is. And from that information, I may ask you, what is the yield to maturity that should give you that one? So that's my target value. So I'm going to make this, call this uh, target bond value. So let's do an exercise. I have a monthly coupon, 10-year bond. with a coupon rate of 20%, and the bond is trading at 200% of face value, which means bond value is 2,000, assuming face value is 1,000. What is the YTM? Technically, we have an Excel function that would calculate it for you. It's the rate function. If you want to use that, go ahead and look that up. But with civilized people, first of all, let me enter the inputs other than yield to maturity. My coupon rate is 20, face value 1,000, coupon frequency is 12 because it's monthly, 10 years. So if the yield to maturity was 4115, this bond would have been worth 2,300. What if it was 5, 10 maybe? Too much? So it's somewhere between 6.5 and 7. No, we're civilized people. We don't have to guess this. The reason I built this template, we're going to make that automatic. Normally, if you didn't have this template, but you had a means to calculate the value of the bond given the inputs, you would have done a goal seek. So you would have said, data, what if analysis, goal seek. I set this cell, or I want to make bond value $2,000 by changing the yield to maturity. Turns out the answer is 642.18. Of course, I'm going to do something else. I don't want you to run a goal seek every time one of the inputs change. I want this thing to run automatically. As soon as I change one of the inputs, it's going to solve for the unknown. First of all, you have to let it know what your unknown is. If you go into the cell below that says given target solved for, it actually has a list of the names of the unknowns, yield to maturity. The only thing you have to do is, instead of solver mode, make that green light, okay? Oh, I have to also put my target value, 2,000. Okay, I'm gonna reopen this because it basically got out of the macro mode since I made a mistake. Okay. How is that possible? All right. Oh, it had a very big number. It kind of crashed everything. So if original I had a reasonable number, for example, if this was instead a 20-year bond, again worth $2,000, it calculates the yield to maturity. That's going to give you exactly that price. It's not very fancy. In the background, it actually does the goal seek that you should be doing. That's the only thing it does. And that macro that does the goal seek, it's triggered by a change in the inputs. That's all. Or change in one of the unknowns. Alternatively, I could say, let me go back to red light. Red light is, even if I change anything, solver or the goal seek is not going to run. Suppose I ask you, instead of yield to maturity is 5%. What coupon rate would give you a $2,000 bond? I may be interested in that, right? Well, then what I don't know is my coupon rate. Just double click. In that case, a coupon rate of 12.91 is going to give me exactly that value. So you use the solar mode in green light whenever you know the value of the bond and you enter that as target bond value, but you need to figure out one of the inputs. All right? We'll do more examples of that next time. Let's stop here for today. Remember, on Wednesday, on Monday, I'm sorry, today's already Wednesday. On Monday, we're going to play Jeopardy on Chapter 3. Since this is only 4 groups, all of you are going to compete. I'm just going to randomly determine the order in which you're going to select the questions. If you're not here without a valid university excuse, it's as if you were here and you answered every little thing wrong. So make sure you have a good reason not to come. You can always give me the documentation and stuff. I'm more forgiving in regular attendance, but not on the Jeopardy. All right? And I'll see you guys on Monday. And I'll post the chapter 3 homework sometime later this evening.